For 3 years, I parked a car I couldn't really afford outside an apartment I couldn't really afford to impress neighbors who were doing the exact same thing right back at me. None of us knew it. All of us thought we'd made it. And the strangest part, the part one wish someone had told me sooner, is that looking poor on purpose, while you actually build money, might be the single most underrated financial decision a person can make. Not because poverty is noble, because invisibility is profitable. I'm going to walk you through exactly how I figured that out, what it cost me to learn it, and why I haven't looked successful in years on purpose. Stick around, because by the end of this, you'll never look at a parking lot the same way again. For my first few years out of school, I believed you should enjoy your money. So I leased an SUV, $620 a month. I redid my kitchen. I had the designer wardrobe, the new sneakers every season, the gold watch on my wrist. Nothing crazy. Nothing I couldn't technically afford. Just a steady stream of looking like a man who was doing well. Then I switched. I started driving a 2014 sedan with 140,000 miles on it. I bought plain clothes. My phone had a cracked corner I ignored for 2 years. People genuinely thought I was struggling. I let them think that. Here's the thing I didn't understand back then. There are always two scoreboards running at once. One is visible. The car in the parking garage. The kitchen everyone compliments. The watch on your wrist. The other is invisible. The number sitting quietly in a brokerage account that nobody around you will ever see. In phase one, I was winning the only scoreboard anyone was actually looking at. Ask anyone back then who was doing better, and they'd have pointed straight at me. They'd have been wrong. It just takes time for the invisible scoreboard to catch enough light to matter. Let me run the math on those first 3 years, because I did, eventually, and it humbled me. The car cost me $7,440 a year just in payments, before gas or the insurance bump that comes with financing something newer. Call it $9,800 a year all in. The kitchen reno was $14,000, financed over 2 years, another $700 a month gone. The wardrobe and small upgrades, maybe $250 a month. Altogether, I was spending close to $22,000 a year that had nothing to do with survival and everything to do with being seen a certain way. Once I switched, I spent almost none of it. My car cost me about $900 a year in maintenance and gas. Everything I used to burn on appearance now goes into a Roth IRA and an index fund. After 3 years of that, I had roughly $66,000 invested, versus the $5,000 I had to my name after 3 years of the old version of me. Same income both times. A $61,000 gap that nobody around me would ever have guessed just by look. Here's what nobody told me back then. The sticker price is never the real price. There's a hidden tax stacked on top of everything that signals wealth, and it bills you for the rest of your life. Start with the obvious layer. Most things that broadcast success are built to lose value the second you own them. That SUV was worth thousands less the day I drove it off the lot. Economist Thorstein Veblen wrote about this over a century ago. People don't buy certain goods for what they do, they buy them for what they say. A $40,000 car gets you to work exactly as well as a $20,000 one. The other $20,000 is a signal flare, fired so everyone around you knows you have money to burn. I was firing flares. Real wealth tends to grow quietly. The symbols of wealth depreciate loudly. Then there's the sneakier layer, the one that hides inside taste. One nice purchase quietly demands the next one to match it. My new kitchen made the old couch look embarrassing. The new couch made the living room rug look tired. One upgrade reset my baseline, and everything around it had to rise to meet it. The most expensive part of any purchase that signals success is usually the 10 purchases it quietly demands after it. And then there's the layer I never saw coming at all. The more you look like you have money, the more you become a target for everyone trying to get some of it. Financial fraud researchers have flagged this directly. People who present as affluent are disproportionately targeted for scams, identity theft, and predatory sales tactics, because visible spending functions as a map of who's worth approaching. Nobody scams the guy with the cracked phone. They scam the one posting the new car. I learned that the hard way, almost. Here's the version of my life if I'd never switched. 2 promotions in, earning $98,000, a nicer car, a nicer apartment, and roughly $19,000 saved, because every raise quietly became a lifestyle upgrade before it ever became savings. That's the trap. The thrill of any upgrade fades in weeks, so you reach for the next one just to feel that spark again. You're running the whole time and standing exactly where you started. Here's the version that actually happened. Same raises. I decided early that nobody's opinion was worth a monthly payment, so every raise went straight into the accounts the old money was already going into. 10 years in, I'm sitting on roughly $240,000 invested. And now compounding starts doing the thing compounding does. At a normal long-term return, that money throws off close to $24,000 a year on its own, without me lifting a finger. My invisible money is quietly earning a second income while I sleep. The visible version of my life, the car, the kitchen, would have earned me nothing. It would have just billed me, every single month, to keep existing. This isn't a story I'm telling for views. Researchers who spent years studying actual millionaires for the Millionaire Next Door found something that embarrassed almost everyone's assumptions. Most self-made millionaires drive ordinary cars, live in ordinary houses, and are functionally invisible in a crowd. Meanwhile, a disproportionate share of people financing luxury vehicles are the ones who can least afford them. I was one of those people. The wealthiest person in any room is statistically the least likely to look like it. By year 20, if the math holds the way it's holding so far, I'll quietly cross 7 figures in net worth. No announcement. Still the practical car, still the plain clothes, though by then I'll probably buy some of it just because I like it, not because I'm hiding. That invisibility became its own asset along the way. Nobody asks me for a loan. No salesperson smells money on me. No contractor quietly inflates my quote. If I'd stayed on the other path, I'd own the nicest things in my friend group and the smallest net worth in it. I'd have won every room I ever walked into and lost the only scoreboard that was actually keeping score. Now, if I only told you the upside of looking poor, I'd be doing exactly what every flashy finance guru does, just in reverse. So let me be honest about the other side. In some careers, looking the part genuinely opens doors. If a client sizes you up in 10 seconds, looking broke can cost you the deal. There's a real difference between looking modest and looking neglected. One reads as intentional, the other reads as struggling. And there's a darker trap hiding on this side too. Some people hide behind, "I'm just frugal," because spending genuinely terrifies them. They hoard and never enjoy a single dollar they worked for. I've met people like that. Looking poor while quietly building wealth is freedom. Looking poor because money scares you is just a nicer-looking cage. Money is a tool, and tools exist to be used. A trip that changes you, a meal that becomes a memory, an afternoon of your own time bought back. None of that betrays the plan. That is the plan. The enemy was never spending. The enemy is spending to be witnessed by people who were never really watching. So here's what actually worked for me, and it's plainer than most gurus make it sound. 1. I cut the wire between my income and my identity. A raise is not permission to become a more expensive-looking person. When income rises, I hold the lifestyle still and route the difference into investments. 2. I pay myself first automatically. Most people spend, then save whatever's left, which ends up being nothing. I flip the order. The money leaves before it ever feels spendable. 3. I run a cost per use on anything that signals status before I buy it. A $300 jacket worn 3 times costs $100 per wear. A $60 jacket worn 200 times costs pennies. I let usefulness define worth it, not newness. 4. I decided what enough looks like before the money arrived. High earners stay trapped because they never draw a finish line, so every raise just pushes the target further out. I named the sufficient car, the sufficient home, in advance. 5. I protect my anonymity like it's an asset, because it is. The less the world thinks I have, the fewer hands reach for it. None of this is about being cheap. I was never cheap. I became precise. I spend freely on what actually matters to me, and nothing on what only matters to people who'd forget my name by tomorrow. That's not deprivation. That's the most expensive kind of freedom there is. The freedom to stop performing for an audience that was never really watching. So next time you catch yourself admiring someone's new car, ask one question. Are you looking at their wealth, or at the exact reason they don't have any? If this changed how you see the parking lot, subscribe. Because next time, I'm going to show you what happens once you actually have the money and still choose to look like you don't.